And you say, I feel terrible all day long. From my point of view, that is not possible because it always goes like this. A silly question, maybe. Are you somewhere on the spectrum?
I am. I'm guessing.
There's nothing wrong with this journey. You are perfectly on time. Welcome, everyone. I have a guest today. I won't reveal his name because a little bit privacy I want to maintain for my guests. Because in this show, they will reveal things that they struggle with, find difficult, and we will come to clarity together on a certain subject. And today, well, you see him already. And so I'm also open for all questions and all sharings that you want to do. Let's speak to our both places of wisdom. So he already told me, or you already told me, that you had a bad day today. And I laugh about it, but of course, when you're in the middle of it, that is not fun. But let's see, well, what we can learn about it. We all can learn about it. What do you want to share with us?
Um, well, I'm in the middle of a difficult journey, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm recovering from a burnout, I think, because I feel terrible a lot of the time,
Mm-hmm.
um, and yeah, really to myself and well, all kinds of symptoms. And at the same time, I also quit with everything that I was doing. But not only because of the burnout, but also because I felt it made me very unhappy.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and now I'm trying to find a new path, and yeah, that's really difficult. I feel like it is going somewhere, but yeah, it is clouded in a lot of uncertainty.
Yes.
And because I also don't feel well in my body, I also worry quite a bit about, yeah, like how am I going to pay for things because I don't have a job right now and I don't want to work as well. Um, yeah,
Okay.
like in short.
I'm very happy that you share it because I think a lot of people find themselves in this position that you described because there's a lot happening in the collective field and it feels like everyone doesn't really know where to go, but things doesn't fit anymore. So you have a pretty radical situation. You quit certain things and a burnout, so you feel good. You need time for this. When you tell me that you feel all this kind of signals, bodily signals, that something's going on in the body, but I hear also emotional signals, all thrown on each other. So for me, I always search for to defer the different kinds of signals you get from your body and your emotions because they all want to give you different messages. And you say, I feel terrible all day long. From my point of view, that is not possible because it always goes like this. So, what we want to look at is what is the most severe emotional situation that you face during the day. And let's dive into this first because then we can peel this onion and yeah, just look at something that wants to reveal itself. So can you
Yeah, I agree.
okay, so can you tell me what do you find difficult during the day?
Well, as you described, it is certainly not always terrible, and especially now, well, the last 2 weeks have been also with some ups as well, is nice.
Yes.
But I have a lot of cramps in my abdomen, in my stomach area,
Yes. Emotional
and
cramps or physical? Both.
Yeah, I think so, because
Okay.
that's still a lot of figuring out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just started like already 3 4 years ago, I think. But like the consciousness or the awareness just increased more recently.
Okay.
But I have these things for a long time already.
Okay.
Um,
Let's dive
I lost
into
my
one
yeah.
situation that you can remember that this cramp was demanding your attention. Can you come up with
Well,
memory of a situation?
many. So
But is it
yeah,
something? Is it caused by worrying you or facing something or challenges or
well, that's what I found so difficult. I experience it in so many different situations. So I experience it when I worry. I feel like something is tightening inside me. But I also woke up today with like a huge cramp, which is a different kind of cramp,
okay?
but still that. And yeah,
Yes.
it
When
really
you
depends.
feel that kind of things and in different situation, it might be that the same kind of roots causing that. So let's just take one situation because that will reveal maybe the cause of the other cramps also. What is the moment that you can remember the cramp coming up? For example, while worrying or while waking up? Which one do you think we need to go first? Because you know where to
Mm,
go. I'm only guiding you.
yeah, okay. I feel like waking up is the entrance.
Okay, so
Uh,
can you describe me the moment that you woke up? What is for you that moment?
um, yeah, often I have like thoughts going through my head, but not, I'm not really aware of it, like a half dream like.
Okay, so we're going back because we need to be specific. And so we are not searching for something that always happens. We are searching for something that in that moment happens. This morning, you were laying in bed alone and you woke up
Yeah,
from the alarm, or did you woke up yourself? Was it middle of the night? Was it
yeah, I just wake, yeah, no alarm.
okay?
Uh,
And what was the first thing you noticed when you woke up?
the cramp.
Okay. So you woke up, you felt the cramp in your stomach or lower?
Yeah, stomach and in my back, like as if it surrounded me from the inside.
Okay. Do you know the difference between bodily cramps and emotional cramps?
Yeah, I hope to figure that out
Okay.
one day.
Okay, so it can be both because when emotions are ignored and suppressed, they also reveal themselves in the body. But it can, of course, also be that it's purely physical. So let's
Mm.
say it is emotional because otherwise you wouldn't be here. So your intuition guides me with your question now with me. So let's say it is first emotionally and then became physically. Do you so your focus went to this cramp, and do you remember what your first thoughts were when your attention was gone then?
No, I do not really know what I thought,
Mhm.
but yeah, what does come to mind is that I have been thinking like it's a signal that I'm too long in bed. Like it wants to get out and it needs something
Okay,
or something. Yeah.
and it is your body.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, a bit of my body, a bit of maybe my inner me or something.
Okay, and feeling this cramp, did you worry about it, or did you see it as a gift that would tell you something? What was your relationship with it at that moment?
Um, I did not really worry about it, but I felt bothered by it.
Okay, And that is totally
Yeah.
fine, because when something's going on the inside, we need to be bothered about it because we need to listen. And I'm being honest. The problems that arise immediately when we woke up are the most difficult ones to puzzle out for me. So because
Yeah.
you have to do it with your memory. So when something
Yeah.
caused it when you were still asleep, or that you didn't notice before, at the first moment before you even noticed that you were waking up, yeah, I cannot. We have to puzzle it out together. So that's difficult about this question. But I like puzzling. So, uh, it bothered you, so you wanted to get rid of it. Okay. I like your attitude, because you have the attitude of, I am going to look inside when something's bothering. I am going to search for a solution, and that is how we grow and evolve. So purely listening to your signals, yeah, that is top. That is perfect. Um, let's try another angle. Entrance. um, when the first moment before it bothered you and you wanted to get rid of it, when you first noticed this cramp, if you go back in your memory and you notice this cramp, and if it could speak to you, what would it tell you?
Okay, first word that comes up is help.
Okay, help. And is there also an object that the help is talking about? Help me with.
Yeah, I see the picture of an orange, as
Okay.
if maybe food, but
Okay, that would be perfect information. Have you eaten after you woke up?
yeah, like at some point, yeah, when I was downstairs, I tried to eat something, and I also, I think, guess felt like I needed something. It was a bit weird because it didn't feel like hunger, but I have noticed that I have like this place where I have the cramps. It also reacts on what I'm thinking.
Yes.
So when I think, for example, bread, then it can like expand or yeah, cramp, and it expanded, and in that sense, I have like been trying to communicate with it.
Wow, I like your approach, because actually this is how it works. When you can make a connection with the energetic resonance of a food, and you uh, digest it also energetically, your energetic field will respond. That doesn't mean that you really don't need to eat it. You do, but you get a signal, a feedback signal, if you are heading in the right direction. So I like your approach, because this is, on a very subtle way, the way that we can address the signals. For example, and this is another situation, but the same kind of coping strategy. For example, when we need to choose between one job or another job, and it's difficult to make that choice, it can help that you imagine yourself on this work floor, and bring that work for floor to here, and listen to the emotional feedback, and also do it with the other choice, and imagine yourself being there, listen to the emotional feedback, and you get answers that way. So the same strategy also works for food. So you did perfectly fine, because in the end we are happier that we learn coping mechanisms in dealing with our human self, then
Yeah,
we get the answer for this tiny problem. So
yeah,
I'm very happy with what you're telling me. Okay, so you ate that, and what did they do with the cramp?
yeah. The cramp lessened, I think, and I also started doing something, so that yeah, that also changes the situation.
Yes.
Uh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. What comes to yeah,
Mm-hmm. What do you want to say?
yeah, because I was thinking, um, mm, no, back to you.
Okay. So, a silly question, maybe. Are you somewhere on the spectrum?
I am, I'm guessing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I haven't been looking for diagnosis. Well, I have, and then I decided not to because I didn't want the label,
Yes.
to get hung up on the label at least. But yeah, that's actually one of my questions, like either autism and or maybe giftedness. That's the two things that I recognize myself in most.
Yes.
Um, yeah, but I don't have definitive answers for that.
No, the label doesn't matter, but what I recognize in your story is the difficulty with reading our body.
Hmm.
That is for people on the spectrum more difficult. So when people listen to your story, they think, huh? What's going on? But knowing that someone on the spectrum has this kind of issues, it's giving us insights actually in how difficult this body can be for someone on the spectrum. But it can also be something else, of course, why it's so difficult, because a lot of people are merely in their heads and figure out
Mm-hmm.
emotions or the bodily signals is for a lot of people difficult. So I like this question because it's a very detailed puzzle to understand. Well, we are souls in a human body. It's a very difficult thing to understand.
I have a question, if I may. Because why is the for people on the spectrum then so difficult to make to understand what the bodily signals are? Because have been baffled by it like the past few years. I couldn't really understand, and I felt a bit strange around other people because I don't know, they did understand or seemed so or they didn't also. I like what makes it that yeah, there is like this not knowing around your bodily signals.
Yeah, I think it has a few components into it. First of all, the bodily awareness is less, and I think that's because there's a disbalance in the development of brain and thinking, which for most autistic people have is highly developed. And it also seems like the mind of an autistic being is more fractured. So to address where it comes from is difficult, and also embody it as me is difficult. The embodiment, and that can become better, by the way, during your life. And what I also see, this fragmental mind, and and yes, the self-awareness, and really referring to the I. It seems that autistic people are more in an own space than really in the body. And
Mm.
well, it remains a miracle or a puzzle why that is, but it is. You see it in a lot of, uh, yeah, maybe even all autistic people, that the body is a puzzle. And
Mm.
also it's the attention. Yeah, there is so much attention on details, on the mind, on, and also in a surviving mode. Everything around is so is so overwhelming that we just forget to eat. And then this cramp in the body says there's something going on. Okay, I have to figure out the puzzle of this cramp. Grr. Oh, it also gives a sound. Oh, I recognize that sound. That means hunger.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like that has been kind of my approach so far. Like, oh, I feel this. What's happening? What makes it change? Like, I really feel like a self-scientist in a way.
yes. And it is almost
Yeah, it
like
was weird.
autistic people develop the other way around. What you see normal people, they start with the body and then their surroundings and then the mind. But it seems like autistic babies first develop the mind and start with the body, end with the body. So actually, it doesn't matter. It is maybe a bit strange when you refer to other people, but we all journey our own life. So um, you can also see it as a challenge or a puzzle or a nice experience, interesting experience. Wow, I've got a body that moves, and it it can feel joy and tiredness and vitality and
Yeah,
cramp and it can so approaching it that way reveals that relieves a lot of the yeah the worries.
yeah, the heaviness, I think, around the things that don't feel nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
So we cannot. There's an interesting saying that says pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. So when you don't relate to the pain as in being a victim, it are merely experiences. And it's always like, okay, we have nice experience and not so nice experience. Some are severe, not nice, some are very happy. And it's meandering through the day. When you keep them between, a doable range, it's okay. So it's for us to train to listen to the signals earlier. But some things, like an eating pattern, is just a sum that we can make. When we eat for the last time 6 p.m., then in the morning, yes, this cramp because it has been 12 or even 14 hours ago. Okay, if I don't want to cramp, I'm going to eat something at 10 p.m.
yeah, yeah,
So that's a puzzle that, yeah, every human being has to discover. We all are discovering how to be a human.
yeah. Well, actually, the word puzzle really describes my current situation for like months now.
Okay, yes.
So yeah, it really has felt like that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
very interesting. Uh, very, very interesting that you are now in a situation that you need to look at that. So how did you manage to go through the day without this knowledge?
Well, I know you a bit longer than today, so I've been following you since April somewhere, I think. That's when I first came across one of your courses.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, has really helped me.
Okay, and how did you
Like,
manage your
yeah.
body to function? Did you learn an eating
Uh,
pattern or did you wait for?
yeah, so like the weird thing is, I feel fried, or at least I felt fried and still do most of the time. Um, but at the same time, I also get fried by doing nothing.
Okay,
So I naturally feel that even if I feel bad, I feel this urge to start doing and like, yeah, give my mind something to work on. I don't know.
yes.
Uh, because otherwise I get bored to death, and that's also not nice.
No,
uh, yeah, so it like I in my good moments I pick up something, and at like that point it was for example your courses, and at some point then I lost track because it went worse with my energy, and like yeah, everything feels very chaotic in that sense. Like I pick up all kinds of things through each other, but I do pick them up.
okay,
And
yes, I
like,
understand.
yeah,
So if I listen to you in this kind of problems, it's actually very important that you are going to understand the body, because the ownership of the body and the embodiment of the body will give you a baseline that gives you far more stability to cope with the rest of the things. So it is beautiful that this reveals itself, and it's always when people suffer from things, and our body or our emotions express what we need to develop. It's always the perfect timing to look at it. So we are not going to compare you with someone else. This seems to be the most important thing for you to uh, inquire at this moment of your life. And actually, it belongs to emotion group shame, and that emotion of shame is the baseline of everything that builds on that afterwards. So really undergoing almost like we are in our mother's belly, building a body, embody the body, accepting the body. That is something that will give us body for the challenges in the outer world. Yes. And so this is important. And not only that you are going to understand the body, but also that you will try to own the body as being a body. You are somebody. And this is the human part of being here, both foot on the ground. Owning your own body is also demanding the space around you. Because when I sense your energy, and well, it's not that severe, but you have a very subtle, uh, sensitive energy, and those kind of people tend to morph into the outer world. So when you really embody your somebody, you will remain better in the center of your being, and then uh, also the energies from the outside world aren't penetrating so easy into your system, because you adapted yourself to more solid space. Do you understand?
Yeah. Although I am also having the questions like, yeah, like how to get there, because I guess I'm already busy with that process.
Yes,
Uh,
but you were busy with the process from the point of view that it is wrong and it bothered you, and what is it telling me? But what if you approach this process as a very necessary and also very interesting puzzle? Okay, I'm going to inquire the human body, the humanness. Do you feel the difference?
yeah. Like what you now express, that's actually a bit of my experience from the last 2 weeks, which is really nice. Because like I feel like a more how do you say this? More and more frequently, I have these tiny moments during which I feel like, oh, this is interesting. Now I've learned another thing about how my body works and like what it needs, and oh, it's this kind of feeling. Yeah, and like feeling in general, I thought I was really, really bad at it,
Mm,
and because I felt only cramps for like 3 years and like overstimulation and stuff.
yes.
Uh, but yeah, 2 weeks ago I actually met an energy therapist, and she just was with me, and she was like, "Whoa, okay, you're very, very sensitive, my dear." And I could finally feel something. What you also mentioned, like the energy, for me that was very strange, a very strange concept, because I guess I come from the scientific world as well. But now finally I felt like there's this, yeah, you could call it sixth dimension of the senses,
Yeah.
uh, like around my body, and I'm still figuring it completely out, but at least now I feel like there's something new to feel, and that's, yeah, that really sparked joy.
Yes,
Mhm.
beautiful, beautiful. I like this. I like your journey. There's nothing wrong with your journey, okay?
Mm.
I feel very much
Great.
impressed with that. There's nothing wrong with this journey. You are perfectly on time. And these energetic worlds of feeling are also very interesting, but really embody the body is the most important thing at this
Mm.
point.
Okay.
And but your interest will guide you the way. So that is
Mm.
fine. You know better uh, what's what's next than me, of course. But knowing uh, the characteristics of what you're telling me, for everyone who is very sensitive, the body and the embodiment of the human self is very important because that gives you the baseline to deal with all these energies that penetrating into your. Yes. And it also, and then of course the emotional field will become important because the signals and listening to the signals will prevent you from overloading.
Mm.
Yes. How do you feel right now?
I feel a bit rosy,
Mm-hmm.
a bit lighter in like less cramped than at the beginning.
Yes. This is what I wanted to tell you
And
also because when you approach this all as problems, then this belief about what's happening also gives you the cramps.
like, oh, this is a problem.
Yeah. There's a problem. A problem. Oh no, another problem. And
Yeah. I know that. Yeah.
this is why you want to approach life as an whatever experience, challenge, nice puzzle, doesn't matter. There are no wrongs. Everything is in right timing. Everything that is challenging you wants your attention, and you have a new puzzle. And from this puzzle, you also get to grow. And that is a nice feeling. So this is all fine. So that whatever that cramps in you, that's approaching is as a problem, we want to throw overboard. This is not a problem. You are perfectly on time.
Hmm. Yeah. Might make that more of a mantra than it already is. I like it. It has been going that way, which is nice because it was terrible when I thought everything was a problem.
That's bad.
And that doesn't help.
No.
I notice now.
Yes.
But yeah, like especially at the inconvenient moments, like waking up or going to sleep, and you feel like completely overstimulated and you cannot get sleep and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are the moments that I feel like I'm mentally more weak. Like, oh, this is a problem right now.
Yeah, but
Uh,
when you describe
yeah.
this, I would say it would be even better if you notice this overwhelming earlier. Because when you
Mm,
notice it, when you're already in bed at the end of the day and it is so severe, you are a bit too late. Because
yeah.
when you notice it earlier, you can take a break for a while and then revitalize yourself, and then your quick isn't rising that high. So this is, yes, a trait of being more aware of signals of not only the body but also your energetic body, because overwhelming feels like this. It's very annoying. Even looking at my fingers, when you're sensitive and you're looking at my fingers, it's irritating because it
Yeah,
penetrates.
a lot of things.
Yes, it penetrates your sensitive energy field. So when you
Yeah.
notice this must irritate you. So immediately there's something feedbacking in your system. And then something simple as, okay, I close my eyes, that can help. So
Mm.
so the earlier you notice the signals and know where they come from, which emotion group, for example, then you can take action upon it and then your quick doesn't rise so home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a challenge.
That's
But
the challenge.
yeah, indeed.
So I'm already
Okay.
happy that you notice this when you're in bed, because then you will recognize the kind of feeling earlier in the day next time. So everything we become
Yeah.
aware of brings it to the surface, and we can learn from it for next time.
Yeah.
Obviously, of course, but it's all good news. We are all learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you now? What is
Yeah. I feel a little.
system?
Hmm?
What is
What did you say?
feedbacking in your system?
Yeah. Something feels difficult. I don't have a word for it.
And what is this something?
Um, yeah, I had some thoughts just now. Like, I agree, but I was thinking of something that happened like 4 days ago,
Mhm.
and that was like that day. I guess I worked a bit too long in the morning, and then there was like a lot of emotion at my parents' home where I visited because my brother broke up with his girlfriend, and we all liked her, including him. So it was a good decision, but a difficult moment. Um, and like after that day, I felt completely fried, and now I feel like I am still recovering from that. So that's maybe what triggered this in me. Like I agree that about like uh, becoming aware of the signals earlier, which is what I'm also have been trying to do slowly.
Yes.
Um, but if like the impact of such a day is so heavy that I am like recovering, I need to recover for days.
Yes.
I feel like it's a little bit out of my hands once it has happened.
Yes.
Yeah,
And in this
that's
kind of
that's what I find
situation,
difficult.
yeah, in this kind of situation, I imagine that you want to be there for your brother.
Yeah,
So this is a choice over your own self-care. And sometimes we choose that. Or sometimes we have no choice and we are in the middle of something that happens and really triggers us on all kinds of levels. So there's something about our human structure, especially when we are highly sensitive or on the spectrum, is that we have to accept that some people are very solid but don't cannot experience life in such a profound and beautiful way. Other people are very sensitive and have the possibility to experience life very beautiful and profound, but also have some pitfalls, like we have to take care of our delicate energy system and need alone time. Some people also have to puzzle out again and again and again what happens to put it in the right boxes in their heads. That's also for people on the spectrum. That needs time. But the interesting thing about that kind of people is they are really profound in understanding what happens uh, with more depth than other people. So every trait has a pitfall. And please accept the trait, but also the pitfall. We cannot do
yeah,
anything else. We have to understand how our wiring works, have to care for it and accept it. And uh, uh, yeah, uh, feed it whatever is needed for that system. But everything that we need is present.
yeah, yeah. I feel a little sad about that
Yes.
because I guess I desire to be out of this mess.
Is it that you desire to
And
be out of this mess, or do you wish you were different? Or so this mess was needed because you ignored your system.
yeah,
So when you are getting to know your system, you will be better in uh, yeah, taking care of it. And then you also can address the beautiful parts of it. So I can imagine that if you think you are just like anyone, and everyone seems to be fine, but that's also the outside and the surface. Everyone has its trouble. Every one of its struggles. So, would there be anyone that you want to trade with? Honestly,
No, I really know that already. Like, I say this like this, but like that is something that dawned upon me, luckily, like half a year ago. Like, no, I just want to be myself. I don't need to be something else. I'm happy with myself, but I feel so weak, and that is what has been frustrating me, and like all this uncertainty about what's happening and how to cope with myself, with people, because every one thing went downhill, like yeah, the past few years, and I can see, luckily, that I'm climbing back up, and it goes very slowly.
yes, burnouts go
But
slowly
yeah,
because you're tired.
yeah,
And when you're tired, for everyone, when we are very tired, we cannot handle anything. That is
yeah,
not weak. That's how do you say that? That is something that will pass. And so tiredness will pass, but sensitivity is something that you have to accept. But sensitivity is not the
yeah,
same as weak. Sensitivity is also a strength. And that's what you want to differ from each other.
yeah. But I have to find a way to, yeah, like cover up the pitfall a little, so to say, like, or at least cope when I fall in, but cope better when I fall in.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
And you will also in the program you will get all these tips and tools. You will manage it, but there need to be acceptance fully for who you are and your values. That's a better starting point. Each moment anew.
Yeah, yeah, I've been trying to put that into practice.
Yes. So every weakness has also its strength. It is just when we acknowledge that we can embrace the strength and care for the weaknesses. Do you feel what's happening right now between us?
Well, I feel cramping, and how do I say this? Something in me is resisting, uh, yeah, accepting
Mhm.
this, because I do believe it, um, but it feels as if I'm resisting tears or something.
Mhm.
I don't know. Uh,
It's
yeah,
totally fine that you resist them during this meeting because it's not a private meeting. So tears are actually perfectly fine, and we will end the conversation so you can cry, whatever. Because what I felt between us happening is a softness was coming over us, and
yeah,
and the softness actually resulted in total equality between us. And this is what always accepting does. But when you accept something, that also needs to let go of something, and the tears will help you with that. Thank you also. I wish all the best.